something happens like that. I know, like they say on a dime, you know. I know that's my client that just let her dog out, and she just took a few steps and she slid, and she said, and she dislocated her shoulder, but she said she was there for about 20 minutes laying there because she was alone. And well, Sugar actually, in a newer development, and she was yelling, and finally after about 20 minutes, the neighbor came. And I said, did you have a coat on or anything? She goes, I did put my heavy coat on, but I didn't have anything else, because she was just stepping out. And I texted her last night, she said she's in a sling, and I guess they just put it back and put her in a sling, and then she was gonna see a specialist today, but it's her right-hand side, and she's right-handed. And then she's got 3 big dogs that she, cares for, her pets, and she's alone. So, yeah, you're right, it could be nice, and then all of a sudden, oh my God. I know. So, yeah.
So good morning, and I just want to thank everyone who came here and those who are online joining us. Welcome to the New Construction Division training that happens here every Friday at 9 a.m., 9 to 10, and we also do masterminds. And case studies after our training every morning. So if you have any new construction questions, transactions, or how to take your business from where you're at into the new construction sphere, this is what we focus on here every Friday. We do a little recap and review of what takes place, and what you have in front of you is something I wanted to go over before we kind of go into our session for training for this morning. We've been gathering for about 6 months now, and not only here, like I mentioned before class, our goal is to do in-house training at the office, but also in 2024, we want to do on-site trainings. And this week I actually was at with 2 builder groups. One was urban and one was Pulte. We actually were there on-site training, and the brokers had an opportunity to come see their product, talk about why their product stands out from other people, other builders in the area, and it gave an opportunity for brokers to ask questions and learn more about new construction. It's interesting, I spoke to another broker just yesterday, and she's like, I went to the MLS's price search and all I see is new construction homes. And I told her this is what we've been talking about, and this is what we're going to continue talking about, that new construction home sales is dominating our market, and it will dominate our market, and that brokers need to be more and more equipped into how to do business in the new construction sphere, and also how to equip themselves in new construction. So we're here every Friday. You'll get notifications via Slack. We're actually, now we have our Facebook group, we'll have an Instagram group, we'll have as many social platforms possible to inform our group here and then the community overall about the training that is taking place here, and like I mentioned, on-site trainings. So we'll also have our new construction symposium here, just like we had in the fall, where you'll have where you will have an opportunity to meet probably up to 10 builders here in the office. You'll get to meet other brokers, and there is going to be a symposium where we keep talking about new construction and how this all works and how you can incorporate it into your business. So I want to start off with the sheet that's in front of you. One of the things Keller Williams did in the last run when short sales came to be is they designed a pamphlet of information. You can pass that down. They designed a pamphlet and a study book that allowed brokers to see and be informed, and part of our division is to also create this pamphlet and the study book material with the education that you see here in front of you. So our division eventually will have a pamphlet. I hope within 60 days we can put it all together, where this pamphlet will give you some kind of a direction and guidance on how things are to evolve and are to develop in your new construction business. They start with a simple question, why new construction? Some of this stuff you've already heard on our Friday training. Why new construction is important to the industry, why is it important to your business, why you need to intertwine your business with new homes. Chapter 2 talks about the engine, how we start, and I talked about my personal experience, how I dreamed about having my names on the signs of subdivisions, but that cultivates the engine of you moving forward. What do you truly want to achieve for your business? Chapter 3, we talk about exposure to the market. We talk about how this actual platform will be one of the platforms to help expose new construction to the broker world. But new construction and exposure to new construction, how you slowly get yourself into this community. And then we talk about chapter 4, the distinction between creating and doing the business, which is interesting. With the market shift that happened, a lot of people are recreating their businesses. They understand, a lot of people are recreating their businesses because the market has shifted, and what we did even 2 years ago, we understand we have to change. And it's interesting, we had a meeting in Urban, and one of the brokers came up to me and she's like, you know, I used to close so many transactions, now I can't close it. That many transactions, I understand I have to go into new construction. And if you want to have volume in your business, you will have to slowly merge into new construction sales. So the distinction between creating and doing, and a lot of you, if you just started your business and you're here, you're in creating mode. You're trying to figure out how to create your business and which direction it's going to go. Then we talk about prospecting. Prospecting has more than just one level, just to fight objections. We actually went through a series of how prospecting looks. Last time, 2 weeks ago, I talked about prospecting for builders. Today, I don't know if we'll have time to get into it, but I did want to talk a little bit about how we prospect developers, then how we prospect buyers for new home sales. So the next lessons going forward on each Friday, I actually want to go through prospecting each people group that are involved in new construction home sales. So last session we did, it was prospecting builders. How do you talk to builders? What objections builders will throw at you? How do we respond? What problems are we solving? And whether we like the builder and we want to do many transactions with them, or we just want to ditch the builder, do one transactions and move on. So that's part of the whole prospecting aspect. And then the 4 levels, and these 2 chapters I wanted to talk about today. The 4 levels of development. You start as a salesperson, then you become a sales manager. In KW it's called a team. Then you become an account manager, and then you're an investor. That is usually the unfolding life aspect of a new construction broker. So most brokers, they start as salespeople in new home sales. They learn how to sell new homes. They sit in open houses. They start talking with builders. They see product. They learn how to sell new homes. They become a really good salesperson. If you can pass one back. I want to carry.
Thank you.
And that's what I want to talk a little bit about more this morning. A salesperson. We as brokers are salespeople. We sell a product that is called a house. And our job is to become better and better salespeople about selling the product that is in front of us. We also always mention, I always say, you need to know up to 20% of a product to sell it. If you don't know 20% of the product, you'll have complications selling your product. So if you don't know enough about housing, this is why we want to do on-site training also. So that brokers can come on site to the new home sales and look at how builders build their home, ask questions about cabinets, ask questions about flooring, about painting, about the furnace, about why we transitions from gas to heat pump. All of these questions are questions that brokers need to answer, so you could that could assist you in selling your home, selling the product. Why urban versus a national builder, a local builder? And these are things a salesperson has to know, otherwise you are not able to sell a product to your client. Why pre-owned versus new, right? Why pre-owned home prices are cheaper versus new homes, right? So all of these questions are things that a salesperson has to learn. Always, I would say, put yourself in the shoes of the buyer, and whatever questions the buyer asks, those are the questions you need to work to answer. So if I show up at a home, what is the first question a buyer will ask about that home? How much? Okay. So then you learn pricing. Why is this, 1,100 square foot home cost $450,000 when 30 years ago it cost $70,000, right? What's the second question a buyer would ask, right? What's the third question a buyer would ask? What's the fifth question? And so, schools is usually on top there. Buyers always ask about schools. So like we were in Holte, they're on the boundary of Washougal and Camas, and that's a huge thing. That's a huge distinction in that part of town. Because if it's a Camas house, Camas school district, the house is worth so much more. If it's a Washougal school district, the house is worth so much less. So we have to learn the questions that are asked by a buyer, and we as salespeople, we increase our value by knowing how to answer those questions. Same thing with new construction homes. When a buyer looks at a new home, what questions do they ask? They ask questions about warranty. They ask questions about, why the lender, builder's lender, gives so many incentives versus my lender. Why does my lender not offer these incentives? So you have to always cycle these questions and slowly answer them as if you were to buy this home. Jumbo loans, right? If you're going in a price point that's 700 plus, how do jumbo loans work? Well, if you don't know how jumbo loans work, you will never make a sale in that price point. Because that's one of the questions. So you have to understand these questions that take place. You have to ask these questions as a salesperson, and your goal is to answer these questions. And the more questions you can ask and the more questions you can answer, this is what keeps you. And then I always say, if you don't know the answer, be the reference point to the answer. Just humbly say, I will get you the answer. Give me 5 minutes. And be the resource to give the answer, but do not refer your client to somebody else. Can you get one to Jeff, Shelley? That's what I gave you the box.
Oh, I didn't listen to.
Thank you. So, the first level that we want to learn in new home sales division is sales. How do we sell new homes to our buyers, to our clients? And we will eventually develop the questionnaires and the objections, and we'll start providing these scripts to the community and just brokers who are interested. But you have to understand what are those questions that these buyers will ask about new home sales. What is a sales manager? Eventually, if you do a lot of new home sales and you understand the product, you understand how to, you will become a manager, or you will have your team involved in new home sales. And we're already talking to a couple of teams here at KW that understand and want to expand their team and have this leg in new home sales. They understand the value that this is bringing into their team business. And so that would be the second developing factor. So if you do new home sales for a year, for 2, for 3, eventually what would happen is you're going to integrate it or have some form of a team, and you're becoming the sales manager of your team. You're coordinating sales, you're coordinating transactions, you're coordinating builders that you want to work with. So that would be like the second tier of development after you learn how to become a good salesperson. And again, our job is to become a really strong resource hub, and you should be going to almost every event that we present in front of you, whether here or the symposium or all the title companies that hold new construction events. You should be going to these events for 2024 and learning about everyone that has to do with new home sales. I also say, go visit every sales office you see. You see a new home sales office, visit them. Talk to those salespeople, and we will build that list also of all the salespeople we'll try to have as a resource for our office. Then you become an account manager. They say it's easy to get a builder account, but it's hard to retain it. Because you have to learn more aspects to the builder business if you want to retain a builder. Because every builder runs their business differently. Just like everyone here, all of you run your business differently. Somebody likes CRMs, somebody hates CRMs, somebody likes Google, somebody likes Apple, whatever. Like everybody has, their special way of how they do business. Somebody still uses a paper and pen, another one is, doesn't even use a paper and pen. So everybody has kind of molded and developed their business. So an account manager, or when you eventually evolve into that position, is learning how your business is going to integrate with these builders' businesses, and how you're going to slowly overlap, how your marketing is going to overlap with these builders and these developers and these investors, how your sales is going to overlap, how other aspects of builder businesses is going to start overlapping with your businesses. Just like you overlap with other brokers in business, this is the same thing. But this is more relationship to retain these accounts. For example, if a builder builds on a lot and sells that home, what is next that they need?
More dirt.
More dirt. So this is part of being that manager. You're thinking ahead for that builder. You're looking ahead. You're providing forecasting of what you want to do for that builder, and you're finding them dirt before they even ask you. So if a builder builds out a community, they want to go to their next community. So these are the things that an account manager keeps looking at. And again, every builder has their signature on how they build homes. It actually wraps up to the personality of the company owner. It's amazing. When I did a lot of study on it, and Urban builds their homes because that's kind of where the vision of the owner is. New Tradition does it this way. DR does it this way. Lennar does it this way. It all kind of wraps up back to the person behind the whole company. What are they really trying to express to the community through the product that they build? And everybody has their way of expressing themselves through the product that they deliver and take to the community. That's why I don't believe there will never be a monopoly of builders. There will always be a variety of builders because people want variety. People just don't want black and white. That's an account manager and then an investor. So in new home sales, you have to deal with investors. You're going to deal with commercial bank lenders. You're going to deal with private money. You're going to deal with people with a lot of cash. You're going to deal with a lot of different tiers of clients compared to what you're dealing with just regular retail buyers or sellers. And that's also an unfolding aspect of our education. There's investors who are looking for long-term. There's investors who are looking for short-term. There's investors who are looking for rental portfolio. But you get an opportunity to meet a lot of these investors in new home sales. Every apartment building that's going up in Clark County, there's an investor behind that. Every subdivision that is built, if you look at the the signs, you know, it's funded by somebody. Columbia Bank, Riverview Bank, some bank is involved, M&T, Heritage, those are pretty big players here. There's a bank that is involved, and there's an investor group that is involved in that project. Because, you know, even if you take a 10-lot subdivision, and a lot is worth about $160,000, that's $1.6 million just sitting there looking at you, just in raw dirt. So somebody had to structure that whole portfolio and deliver that product to the community. And that's something we actually brought up in a poll tape about, like, if there's a community that's fully developed, what you're looking at is somebody just planted a lot of money into that project. So when you go to the waterfront, you can look at the beautiful buildings, or you can also understand that there's some big money that's being flown through those projects, and they're just people just like you and I who make financial decisions about these projects to be built. And you get an opportunity to eventually come across these investors, and you get to learn how these people operate, how they look. Eventually, a lot of brokers end up somehow partnering with these investor groups at certain layers or certain levels. Any questions on this? I know it's a lot. I know since fall we've kind of been taking bits and pieces, but today I kind of wanted to show you like the overall concept so you can understand that this is the bird's eye view on the whole division, and then slowly, whatever bits and pieces you want to learn about, we'll slowly be able to transcend that to the group and to the people who are interested. Okay, so let's go to chapter 7. That'll be the categories of new construction. So they're not only a concept in the sales, like we spoke in, I'll say chapter 6, there's categories of new construction. There's land acquisition. There are brokers here in town that is all they did their whole career in real estate. They just land. And they did really, really well. They sell a bunch of dirt, they sell a lot of lots, that's all they did is land acquisition. And some of you here eventually, or people in our office, will want to just, do land and nothing else. And there are land, there's called land banks, and investors who only invest money into land. They look at urban holdings and they, instead of putting their money in a savings account, they go buy 20, 30, 100 acres and they do their land bank. So in March, there's going to be an event. It was actually talked about in our all-partner meeting. This guy in Florida bought the HP building. That's 160 acres between 162nd and 192nd. He's going to make a huge town out of it. Apartments, whatever, I don't know. I'll go check it out. So you should be at that event and learn. Somebody put in a lot of money into that project. That's just one project in our town. So land acquisition is a very big department in new construction sales, whether it's eventually a Starbucks that's going in, a subdivision, a building, an apartment, a skyscraper, it doesn't matter. The land side of things usually has about the same process. The time frames is just the infrastructure, the engineering, all of that takes place in land acquisition kind of goes through the same process. Then you have land development. This is where the land has been approved for whatever. It's been approved to split up in 5 lots, and somebody picks it up from there and develops the dirt, turns 1 acre into 5 lots. That's called land development, or brings infrastructure, all the sewer utilities to build, KW building, right? Whatever it is, but that second process of land development, bringing all of this to improve, it's called improving the land or the dirt. So they do the improvements on the dirt. That's on the land development side. Then building the product. What are we building? Are we building apartments? Are we building single family homes? What are we going to build on this land that is in front of us? We talked a lot about community development, and Shelley and I, we talked about also bringing that offers. They have it online now, right? You mentioned or no? Their meetings.
Oh, yeah, the planning department for the county just sign up for their email alerts, And you'll get emails to tell you when the planning department is having meetings, and majority of those meetings are online. So you don't even have to go to the county, you just watch it online.
So we talked about communities. That is one of my developers who mentored me. He's like, just go to the planning meetings and you'll meet everybody there. You'll meet developers, you'll meet the investors, you'll meet the builders there at the planning meetings. And since they're online, I mean, just like we're trying to do, you know, the Facebook Live today, you know, make it a priority, you know. Stop watching CNN. Make it a priority to watch, you know, community development videos. No, I really mean it. It's really important that we slowly put this stuff in front of us and go to these meetings. But the community development meetings are what gives you a forecast of what's going to take place and where the city's growing, what they're putting in, and so forth. And that is really huge. So that's building the product, and then sales management. Every product that is built or delivered eventually needs to be sold. And in these trainings, we talk a lot about SFR, single family residentials, but there's so much more product that you can eventually learn to sell. We talked about the condo market in downtown Vancouver. We can talk about commercial division. We can talk about leases. There's so many other things, townhomes, ADUs, and so forth. So there's so much more product that is coming through in new construction that we as brokers have to learn how to sell. And because the community grows, they change how they want their product to look. For example, you know, when they were building out Cascade Parks, the county thought, you know, 12,000 square foot lots was the deal. That was the smallest lots in town that we should have, right? But now we're at cottage lots at 1,200 square feet. And the county thinks that's absolutely fine if people live on 1,200 square foot of lot, and they should be happy. And there's nothing you and I can do about that, right? So we're going from selling homes on 12,000 square feet 20, 25 years ago to now brokers need to learn how to sell product on 1,200 square feet. So how do you overcome that objection, right? So this is how the division will slowly provide information on all of these categories, and brokers can slowly understand these categories, subcategories, understand kind of the life line. And again, you don't need to know it all, maybe to the depth I know things. You don't, believe me. But if you can at least know enough to make your transaction, make your sale. So that is your whole goal. How much? So I remember I had a client, he wanted to buy a commercial property in downtown Park. I've never done a commercial deal. So guess what I did? I just called the listing broker. I said, you know what, I want to grab lunch. You're going to tell me how to put this transaction together. I'll help you out on a referral. You help me out on learning how to make a new commercial transaction. And that's all what happened. I got lunch, and over lunch, I had a transaction, and I got paid on it. So what I'm saying is, like, it's not like you have to know everything, but if you know where the information is available, and you know how to get it, and then use it to implement into your business, what we're after is more transactions. What we're after is more sales. So this is a very thorough understanding, and every Friday we're going to take segments from one category, another category, a third category, and I'll kind of just, you know, in a very brief and simple version, present it to you so you can slowly start understanding how this is to take place. But this is not going anywhere. What I mean is, this division is going to be here for a year, and 2, and 5, and 10. So like the things that are being implemented here are going to be here to stay. So no matter when you decide to take your business in this direction, the information is going to become available for you. And that is really the goal, is for this information to start to circle, and then you're able to bridge into the communities that are going to inform you more and more of these categories. So, like the title rep that was here on Wednesday, they focus on land acquisition and land development. That's what title, and 60% of their business that they close is in land acquisition and land development. So guess who they deal a lot with is investors. They talk a lot every day to land developers. So if you have a question, you just grab lunch with them and they're more than happy. They came here. You gotta think about it. They're busy, but they made it to the sites on Tuesday where I went to Pulte Homes. Those title reps don't have to do that, but they're doing that because they understand that word needs to go out because the broker world needs to fill that void. They're here to service us, and I don't want to say it this way, but we have to go back. We have to, start understanding this whole industry that is before us. Any questions on this? So if you're not, right now, if you're not in our Slack community, if I don't have your contact, please grab your phone and text me, so I can have your phone. All I need is your name and your email. My phone number is actually here, but it's 360-521-1973. If you could send me a text right now with your name and email, we'll add you to the communities that you could slowly start to follow and understand what this is all about. Go ahead.
I would say, not a question, but a thought that I've had recently that just throw out there. I love the idea, and I do stop by sales offices, but it occurred to me, like, when you go into the sales office, it's in a model home, and it's got all the bells and whistles and upgrades. I think I've started developing the idea, like, I want to go there, I want to see that, but I also want to see a spec home that they're building, or one that's not all fancy, and see what like their base model looks like. I think that would be an interesting comparison between builders, not just how fancy they can make a model home. So,
true.
Thought.
But that information that you're collecting is so crucial because that's the same thing your clients are seeing. When they're walking into that model, they're seeing usually all the bells and whistles of a builder because they try to put it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
they see signs at the entrance of the community say starting in the high 500s or mid 500s, and then you walk into the model home and that would cost $700,000.
It's true. Yes. Go ahead.
I find a good question to ask them is, what is their standard upgrade? Because every builder is different as far as what they call standard.
Correct.
And so you can't walk into each one with a client and know what they're gonna be getting. It's generally always differs, so.
And one thing I'm going to say, I always repeat this, but it's kind of, you don't have to learn everything about every builder. And I'll say, learn something about a builder you like, at least one. Just write down one builder that you like and start learning everything about that builder. You don't have to learn everything about, because if you learn at least everything about one builder, the chances builder to builder, there's maybe about 15% variation, 10% variation, but most of the things are, same window, same sheetrock, same studs, same concrete. A lot of the things, you'll find that are very, the same grass, same bark dust. So, a lot of the things are going to be the same thing from builder to builder, but those variations, like you talk about upgrades, will differ from builder to builder also. Any other thoughts, questions? So I want to go back just to this concept of creating and doing. And last time I gave you a homework to do, and I don't know how many of you did that homework, but I'll go back to that question. And actually Patty was here last time, and she confirmed this process of thinking. What I pressed upon last time, and hopefully some of you did that, is what are you really worth per hour of your day? And I know I call it a reality check, but if you make $50,000 a year and you split that by 12 months, and then you split that by 160 hours a month that an average person works. The question is, how much are you truly making in your business? And we talked about these tiers, that a person who's a beginner, just like in any beginning trade, would make anywhere from $18 to $25. Anybody that eventually moves from a beginner's trade to a mid professional would make anywhere from, say, $30 to $60. And then we mentioned that anybody who's professional in their industry is making 80 plus, and I don't know, the difference where the cap is for every person. And I think this is a very important indicator how good you are in your industry, referring back to what you're making per hour. There's a broker, his name was Bob Badgett. I don't know, Shelly, if you know him, but he was the one who taught me this when I just got into real estate and rematch. He sat down and he kept asking, how much you make per hour? I was like, nothing. And, I mean, it's kind of sad, but if you make nothing, then you don't know anything, right? So they're always like, it's a hard reality check, but it really gives you an informative idea of what you're really worth, and that's what really the market will pay you. So if you're making $50,000 a year in real estate, well then that means that's really what you're worth. If you're making $100,000, then that's what you're worth. That's what the market is really willing to reward you for, the knowledge and the engagement that you're doing with the market. So what I'm trying to, I guess, come back is somewhere you always have to go back to that. And I actually did this assignment for myself, and I was like, you know what, for 2024, if I could do this per hour, if I could truly be worth this number per hour, what do I need to do? And I did a lot of research, probably spent about 2 hours researching, just for myself. I was like, you know what contributes for me to make this much? What do I have to do? What do I have to get involved in, right? If you need more to, and these formulas are very crucial that you train your brain to start thinking in this format. It is a mindset shift, but Bob Badgett influenced me when I just started, and I keep always coming back every year. Like, what am I worth? What do I not know, or what do I need to know to get myself into this other tier instead of just being always in the basics? So if you're making $18 to $30 an hour in real estate, you're still in the basics. You're still kind of on base one. If you're making $30 to $60 to $80, that means you're running with kind of the mid professionals. But if you're making above 80, you're running in with the professionals. Meaning, you're doing something that is in high demand, and the market is willing to reward you for your time on you investing into the market. So I want you always to go back to that formula and keep rerunning it in your business and in your mindset. So what is the division offering? And we'll finish with that. So the division is going to be offering 4 tiers of services to the broker community. And the first tier is you as a solo broker can become part of this division. And our whole goal is not to focus on any other aspect of your business but your new construction arm. So our goal for you as a solo broker, if you want to be part of this division, and we can sit down and talk about terms, is for us to build this new construction spoke in your solo business and help you understand why it's important. As a team, and we're talking to teams, our goal is to do the same thing. In the team is to build the new construction spoke as a new stream and a new concept of business inside of a team. Then you get Friday. These are freebies. You get my time. You can. I usually stay for about another 30 minutes, an hour. This is where we can mastermind. You can ask questions. You can learn. As much information as I can give you, so it could just kind of get you excited about new construction. And then the 4th tier is coaching. I do have a package. If you want my time exclusively, I do have a package where it's just a package, you buy it, I could sit down for 4 sessions, you could observe those 4 sessions, you get my attention for 30 to an hour for 4 sessions, and you can poke my brain on any tiers you want, and I can relay as much information back to you so you can understand how you can slowly start to engage in that. But there's a lot of other services that we're going to slowly provide and develop that will be available through this division. But all I can say is if you invest enough time, the last 12 years, 95% of my business just has been around this scope. So I have not engaged almost in any other aspect but new construction. And like I said, I can give you names of people who only do land, and you can study them in the market, get to know these people, but that's all they do is they sell land and lots, and they do really well. And the other categories in this foreman aspect. Any questions? So you'll get in notifications through Slack, Facebook, and emails from us. And then if you have questions, you can reach out to me directly. You can stay after these sessions, and we'll go from there. Good?
Thank you,
Awesome.
David.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. See you next Friday.
Good. All set. So, yeah.
We went through all the right questions.
Got anything going on?
I mean, one shot, copy.
I got 2 cents for David and then put together an email with a summary.
So it could go fast, you know. You just never know.
This is appointment this afternoon.
So for house,
Okay, so she did it.
If you know anybody's looking for houses to build here,
This.
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. One more announcement.
finished basement.
Yeah, just you guys are all down and I can grab your
Oh, wow.
attention before you run
And
out.
I'm like, they're beautiful pictures, but what about the official picture? You know, she's like, oh, so I didn't know you want those. That's the main picture I need, right? So she's like, I'm like, well, she's like, well, you should get that.
What is
Sorry, if I can just get your attention.
Yes.
I know, I'm
Yes,
just
sorry.
on the
Yes,
fly.
go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm with the ALC, have a large team here in the brokerage, and I'm working together with Kim Rosengren, who also has a team. We're part of the Associate Leadership Committee for Keller Williams for all of this year. Our mandate is to help you guys level up your production this year in whatever way that we can be of assistance. So Kim has written a really brilliant mentorship accountability program, and we are recruiting for that program. So it's completely free. It's literally the 2 of us as team leads, as coaches, as longtime real estate people, doing everything we can to work individually with a handful or more of people, agents here at KW, to give you accountability, to give you a monthly meeting, to give you some additional coaching to literally just help you take your game to the next level. And so this is kind of what Patty had asked us to do as our owner here of this amazing brokerage. And we said, yeah, so this is what we're doing this year. I brought a sign-up sheet. I would love to gather a few names, people interested. One of the really cool things we're also going to be doing are monthly masterminds. So we're going to come into this room, and we're actually going to bring you guys speakers and maybe some agents, expert agents from this brokerage. And we're going to bring you guys some new information, anything we can give you that will help you have a fantastic 2024. And so part of what is really cool about the core group of people that join this mentorship group is that you guys will even help us to be able to come up with, you know, suggestions that you have of content you would like to see that we can go out and get for you in these monthly masterminds that we're going to share with the whole brokerage. So it doesn't mean you have to go speak in front of the brokerage. It just means you get to be part of those ideas and go, hey, wow, how come we don't do a media class or whatever that is? And so we're just looking for 5 to 10 individuals who really want promise you I haven't I could because I didn't wanna,
No, you're good.
stop your role. But yeah, so I will hang out here for a few minutes for any questions. Basically, what I'm taking is names, emails, and phone number on the sign-up sheet. You guys, all you have to do is, I'll stop right here and do that. Just put in your info. We're gonna have a meeting in the coming week. I would say we'll do it sometime next week. And we'll do it either by Zoom or in person. And we will make sure to give you guys the full program. Ken has the specifics on how, you know, how many times you're gonna look at evaluating your goals and that kind of thing. But this is literally about goal setting and accountability. What I can tell you from my 36 years in sales, and 20 or so years in real estate, is that when you have someone who's an accountability for you, someone who you say, here's my goals, I set my goals, what's my minimum, what's my stretch goal, and you have accountability partners for that outside of your household, you are going to have a much greater chance, 80+%, you're gonna meet some of those goals. So that's really huge for you guys. Another thing is, you surround yourself with what you need, what you don't yet know that you don't know, and what you want to be a part of. And so surrounding yourself with others like-minded who are, yes, looking for goals, maybe they're new, maybe they're not, but they're like, hey, I want that, that's my year. We are here for that. And then you can learn additional things from myself, from Ken, and from the people that we bring in on Mastermind. So questions, comments, anything for me? Yeah, I'm just really excited to get started with you guys. It starts now, right? So here's the sign-up sheet. If it feels uncomfortable or weird, but you'd like to make more money this year, probably you should put your name on the list. That's all I can tell you, right? Because that's kind of what it's like to have that entrepreneurial mindset and to want to level yourself up, to want to get a goal that maybe is a little bit uncomfortable for you, or you're not 100% sure how you're going to do it. If you're in a room that makes you a little uncomfortable, you're probably in the right room, right? Because it means you're probably challenging yourself, you're pushing yourself outside your comfort zone a little bit, and you're seeking what it is you don't yet know, right? So, cool. Well, I look forward to talking with you guys, and I'm going to be right here with the sign-up sheet, and I'd love to see some of you come on up, ask me questions, and yeah, just put your name in. Remember, you're going to start with an informational meeting, so we're not going to, you know, put you down for 10 years. We're just going to have you